The honorary degree will now be conferred. I'm pleased to welcome Professor Maureen Feazell to present the honorary degree candidate, Mr. Jack Uppal. Professor Feazell has been the director of the undergraduate program and the associate dean within the BD School of Business. Professor Feazell.
Just stand on my right.
Thank you. Just going to put you over a little bit. Perfect.
Thank you. Thanks. Yep, thanks. Madam Chancellor, exceptional people change lives. Jagat Singh Uppal is more familiarly known as Jack Uppal, is just one of those people. He immigrated to Canada as a baby in the 1920s, a time when Canada was a land of opportunity, but was not particularly friendly to immigrants from China. Although Canada granted them the citizenship, they did not allow them to vote. His parents worked hard to provide him with necessities of life, but his childhood came to an end when his father was tragically killed when he was 13 years old in a truck accident. He had to leave school at that age and become the breadwinner for his family. He was able to get a job in a sawmill, which started his lifelong career in the forest industry. From those early days, he recognized that his community was important, and since then he has actively worked to better his life and the life of those less fortunate. As he moved into management positions within the industry and then became a lumber company owner himself, he actively hired new immigrants and sponsored others. One person described him as one-man social worker before there were even social workers. Jack has helped not hundreds, but thousands of new immigrants. Jack was one of the people who wrote letters and lobbied the federal and provincial governments to change immigration laws and to allow Indo-Canadians to vote. Finally, in 1947, they could. This fundamental right is something that we take for granted today, but if it had not been for people like Jack, it could have taken much longer. Over the years, Jack has continued to be actively involved in the local, provincial, and federal levels, helping to create the multicultural society we enjoy today in British Columbia. In 2010, Jack was given the BC Community Achievement Award, recognizing his substantial contributions. Today, he is still the manager of his own successful lumber company, Goldwood Industries. He's a patriarch within the South Asian community, an active family man, and a pillar in the community. He lends his support to cultural events, health institutions such as St. Paul's Hospital and the BC Children's Hospital, and various education and sports initiatives. For all of the new graduates today, Jack Uppal is a role model, exemplifying what is possible if you work hard and care for others. Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of this university, I ask that you confer on Jagat Singh Uppal the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
I'll just do this. Jack Uppal, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Dr. Uppal will be hooded by Dr. Bill Crane, Associate Vice President Academic, and Dr. Kate Ross, Registrar.
Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you. Jack, could you turn and face the audience? Thank you. Nick, is it possible for you to remove your hat? Just going to pause for a minute for pictures. If you could turn the chains and shake the Chancellor's hand.
Congratulations, Jack. So well deserved.
There's your hat back. And I'm going to escort you over to the table so you could sign your book.
Yeah, there you go. It is with great pleasure that I now call on Dr. Jack Uppal for his convocation address. Dr. Uppal.
Madam Chancellor Carol Taylor, Mr. President Andrew Petter, members of the Board of Governors, members of the Senate, members of the faculty, graduates, honored guests, families and friends, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you. I can't believe that I am standing on the podium of the Simon Fraser University. Simon Fraser University is one of the most prestigious universities in the world. It is located in the most livable city of Greater Vancouver. And it's in the province, the beautiful province of British Columbia, and the best country in the world, Canada. I am honored. I'm humbled. I'm grateful. I'm thankful, particularly to those wonderful people who nominated me and to those extra nice people who endorsed my nomination. And of course, Chancellor Taylor, President Petter, and all the staff of Simon Fraser University. But I still have to feel myself. I still have to pinch myself to find out if this is a dream or is it a dream that's come true. If it's a dream that's come true, then it's not my dream only. It is a dream of my father. My father, Dalip Singh, migrated to Canada in 1906 when Canada was free for people of British subjects from India. He came on the vessel, the Monteagle, and although he was married, he was unable to bring my mother here because of strict racial immigration laws. My father was separated from my mother for 16 years. He was afraid to leave Canada in case he was not allowed to come back. It wasn't until the government, the powers to be, finally realized that by barring wives and children, that they're not going to get rid of these brown people from Canada. So they passed a law where wives and children under 21 years of age would be allowed to come forward to Canada. My father, he returned to India in 1922, and my brother was born in 1924. And he came back to sponsor my mother and my brother, not knowing that I was even on the way. And I was born in 1925. My brother and I, we arrived in Vancouver on May the 6th, 1926. I am thankful to God. I'm grateful and fortunate enough that my father came to British Columbia, although he endured numerous hardships, struggles, discrimination, and intolerable conditions. He persevered. My father and other East Indian pioneers helped to build Canada what it is today. Unfortunately, my father's life was cut short when he was killed in an automobile accident. It was the hungry 30s, so even to get work was difficult, and particularly if you were an East Indian. My brother and I were too proud to go on any assistance from the government, from anybody else. We just wanted to work. My mother worked alongside of us. She would help us by sewing our clothes, our bed sheets from used flour bags, and from used or recycled wool, she would knit us socks. I am extremely thankful to those people who gave me a job so that we could put food on our table. Now I'm going to walk down memory lane and tell you a story from my past. So why share this story from my past with you? Two reasons: perseverance and love. Perseverance is defined as a continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, opposition, obstacles, of which I had many. As I was unable to go to school during the day as I had to work, but I still wanted to get a further education. Somehow or another, I wanted to learn more. So I started to go to night school. In one of the classes, it was mandatory for each student to make a speech at the end of the semester. Speeches were to be impromptu, and it was only when I got on the stage, ready to proceed to the podium, Dr. Smith, my instructor, leaned over and asked me, "Mr. Singh, what is going to be the topic of your speech?" I said, "Love, sir." He looked at me curiously. As I was the youngest student in the class, He probably wondered, what's this kid going to talk about love? I started my speech something like this. Love is many a splendid thing. Love comes in many forms. First, there's motherly love, fatherly love, brotherly love, a love for your pet, a love for friends, a love for partners. But the love I'm going to talk about today is love for humanity. For what you do in your everyday life towards your fellow human being, good or bad, is going to be judged in the eyes of God, not by the color of your skin or the garments you wear. They don't affect your inner self. They're just tricks of the privileged class to retain themselves in power. Only he is great and noble, whose life is good and true, whose days are fruitful in loving service to humanity. Only he is low and untouchable, who lives a lie, exploits his fellow men, and makes up their shrunken soul by an inflated ego. Man is to be judged here and hereafter by the life he lives and the good or harm he does to his fellow human being. I continued with my speech and talked about how to try and gain perfection in this imperfect world. Emphasizing the utmost importance of love. When I had to leave school and go to work, it was a very tough grind. I was working almost nonstop, and therefore I lost touch with the children I grew up with. 10 years ago, by coincidence, and by virtue of a radio or a TV personality, Mr. Mark Madriga, who you may know as a global weatherman, his name I recognized, and I wanted to ask him, have he got any relationship with Albert? As luck goes, one day I went to a restaurant with my family, and here there was a whole bunch of people from the newsroom of the global television. I said to my family, I'm going to go up and talk to Mark and see if he knows someone I knew. He said, no, you're not. You're not going to embarrass us. You can't go. But sneaky old me, I made an excuse that I'm going to go to the washroom. The washroom was just on the opposite side. So I made out that I'm going to the washroom, but coming back, I went directly to the table where Mark was sitting. I said to Mark, I said, Mark, do you know any Madriga, Albert Madriga? Because it's not a common name. He said, why do you want to know? I said, because I think I know an Albert Madriga. He said, how do you know? I said, I went to school with him. And he says to me, but he's 77 years old. And I said, how old do you think I am? Nevertheless, I gave him my phone number. The next morning, I got a telephone call from Albert. He didn't recognize my name as Uppal because when I was going to school, we were only known as Singh. We never used our last names. And he still didn't recognize me. I hadn't mentioned my brother's name, Sadhu. Oh my God, he says, after all these years, because I had not seen these people that I went to school with for 64 years. We had a beautiful reunion, and since then, a number of us get together every now and then and have lunch together. We reminisce about the old days, our wonderful teachers, and all our childhood memories. However, lately, our conversation has been about each other's aches, pains, and medications we're on. I feel very blessed to have grown up with these children, wonderful people, and I am proud of the diversity and cultural enrichment of our city. Here in Canada, we have a living symbol that every real Canadian loves, the maple leaf in autumn time. One of our great poets has said, "The scarlet of maple can move me like a flame." But actually, the maple leaf, sun-treated and frost-tinted, is not plain scarlet. It is a blend of beautiful colors, each distinct in its own sphere, but merging into other shades without clashing. The different colors help to make the whole not less, but infinitely more beautiful, as do the instruments, different instruments in the symphony. I'm sorry, I'm diabetic, I need a little bit of water. It should be fine. I'll leave it there. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I have one other announcement. I'm not sure. This person has made a new life for me and a greater life. He's my first great-grandson, and he's my father's fifth-generation Canadian. I want to announce, and I hope he can stand up, I hope he's still awake, Mr. Preston Dillon. Hi, Preston. Life was simple when I was a child. We played outside with our friends, communicated in person, and when we were thirsty, we purchased a Coke to share with others equally. Today, the iPad has become the newest pastime. Communication is by Twitter, Facebook, email, or text. Sugar-free vanilla, extra foam latte is considered the drink of choice. My love for humanity is the essence of my being, and I want to infect you with the same desire to do for others as you would do for yourself. Everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is defined by service. All you need is a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love, and a burning desire to pursue whatever you aspire to. After today, graduates, as you leave this campus and embark on a new and exciting journey, embrace your successes and failure with dignity and push on. Make your community and country proud of your achievements. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Let's you back, please.
Thank you, Dr. Uppal.